We're fixing to freeze dry a batch of eggs, guys. I count these as medium to large. We can fit about 100 in this freeze dryer. About 25 per tray. Fills it up nice and full. Howdy, folks. Today we're gonna freeze dry some eggs. We have a medium freeze dryer. About 100 eggs fits in it perfect. These are medium to large fresh eggs right out of our barn. A lot of folks do about 72. They say about 18 per tray. Oh, it's full enough. It's not. There's no need in running the machine if it's not full. And about 25 medium to large eggs fits in a tray perfect. I'll show you how to do it without spilling them all over the place. Yes, it fills the trays up, but it fills them right to the top just like they need to be. No spillage. Okay. 10 might be a little too many in there. We'll run it. The reason for cracking them in this bowl first, guys, is you could get a bad egg. I'd hate to have 20 eggs cracked in my blender and then crack one that was nasty. I'm not going to make you watch all this. I'm going to go ahead and do 25 in it. There's 25 in the blender. A lot of people do them in a bowl and then mix them up, you know, with a whisk or a blender. I started out using a hand blender and a mixer in a bowl. And I looked over there one day and I thought, well, I bet 25 eggs will fit in that blender. And that's enough for one tray. Let's see how that'll work out. And it works out perfect. We'll take them right to the freezer. Come on. trays. I set them right in the freezer here in the kitchen, like this. Bring the eggs over in the blender, pour them right in. Whether you try filling your tray up and then carrying it to the freezer or carrying it to the freeze dryer, you're going to make a mess. Spill something all on the floor, all in your freezer, or even worse, all in the freeze dryer. Plus, they only fill the tray about half full because of that fact, you know. But like this right here, I can fill it right up to the top rim. No danger of spilling anything. And of course, once it's frozen, you can handle it very easily then, not worry about spilling nothing. That's the way to do it. Now the next tray will go right on top. These little guys here are spacers, stackers that go right on these trays. That way you can stack them on top of one another without an issue. Fill that one up, another. The machine holds 4, so we'll do 4 at a time. I don't know if you guys noticed a while ago, but these eggs foam up pretty good when you blend them. And I just let it set a couple minutes before I start pouring. It helps get rid of some of that foam. You know, keep in mind when we're doing this, you know, we're going to freeze dry them just like this in that tray. If you wanted to, you can take and mix right in right now. You could take some chopped peppers, you know, chopped bell pepper, chopped onions, chopped sausage, you know, ground up sausage and brown it real good. Excuse me. Burping breakfast. But you could add some sausage, bacon bits, whatever you added to, you know, do this to make breakfast burritos or something. It could all already be added in here. And when you got ready to use it, take it out, add a little water to it and let it sit for a few minutes. Put it in the skillet, cook it, and it'd be just exactly like it would if you cracked fresh eggs and added your stuff and scrambled it in the skillet. You can't tell any difference at all. And this right here, when I rehydrate these eggs and use them, it's fresh egg. It's exactly the same. Now, after you have cooked them, you know, a lot of people like to, say if you want to make some hunting food, you know, something you can set in your deer stand, open up and eat or something, you can actually scramble these eggs, then run them through the freeze dryer, already cooked. Now, when you do it that way, to me, it does change the texture a little bit. It makes it a little bit rubbery, but not necessarily because of the freeze dryer, but because of the time. You know, it's frozen and for a day and a half, and then before it's freeze dried. And eggs, if you don't eat them fresh after you scramble them, they get sort of rubbery. Well, of course, you know, from the time you scramble these to the time they're frozen and everything, you know, and the process is done, they went through that time where they are just a little bit rubbery when you rehydrate them. But if you do them like this raw and rehydrate them and cook them, they taste just exactly like fresh eggs. You cannot tell the difference. It's not the same as, I don't know if y'all remember old powdered eggs. They got pretty popular back like the end of the 70s and stuff. You seen a lot of powdered eggs, you know, them trying to sell them to us, and a lot of the restaurants used them because it was cheap and easy. And they had a aftertaste to them. They were different. I didn't like them. You could sure tell when somebody tried to pass them off to you. They weren't the same, and this is not the same process. They went through sort of a dehydration process. I forget the actual name of it, but There's a big hot drum with hot air blowing through it, and there's little spray nozzles, and we'll spray the mixture onto that drum, and it dries almost instantly, you know. But still, it's a drying process, and it affects the nutritional value and the taste and the texture. It's not the same as the freeze drying process. So just to get that clarified. Alright guys, we're up to the 4th tray now. Let me grab the tray. Put them in this freezer rather than the deep freezer. This last tray, we've got to change it up a little bit. The container off the blender is too large to go up to pour, so I had to transfer it into this quart fruit jar and a coffee mug, and I had plenty of room to pour it. The reason I'm using the kitchen freezer on the refrigerator here instead of the deep freeze in there is the deep freeze is full of pig, remember? One quart and coffee cup. Just right. There we go. Now, I'll let these go for probably about 30 hours. Tomorrow night it'll be time to put these in the freeze dryer. See you then. Okay guys, here's about 24 hours freeze time on our eggs. Frozen nice solid. So you fill those trays up in the freezer like that. That way you can get them as full as possible and not have to worry about anything spilling as you're loading your freeze dryer. Let's get the freeze dryer ready to go. I believe these are ready to go in it. Alright guys, I don't know how well y'all can see that, but this is what it looks like when it's just sitting waiting, ready to go. All we gotta do is hit start. Here we come on. Now it tells us it's cooling the vacuum chamber. Wait about 15 minutes before loading the trays. What that does is it'll bring that vacuum chamber down to temperature so your product doesn't start melting when you first set it in there. Janet was home yesterday. She didn't have to work, so we pulled the rack out of this thing and gave it a good clean. Make sure it was ready to go. We'll give her 15 minutes there. Load it up. Okay guys. It's been 16 minutes. It says load trays in the freeze dryer. As you can see, it's pulled down to 50-something degrees in there. So that's what we'll do. I've already got them out of the freezer. You guys can see there, the light colored spot is for that foam, that last bit of foam, poured out of the stuff into the tray. So that's all that is. And for some reason you don't see it once it's freeze dry. But let's load her up. Here we go. Now we just hit the continue. I've already closed the drain valve. After I hit continue, it goes to freezing, and of course the product's froze. But the deep freezer here in the kitchen only goes down to probably about 0 is what it's set for. This here is going to freeze this down to between 38 and 40 degrees below 0 before it starts the actual drying process. So it'll be about 38 hours, and we'll have some freeze-dried eggs. Well, guys, this thing's ready. Actually, it was ready 2 o'clock this morning. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, you should be able to see that good now. It says process complete. Open drain valve to vent. It was ready at 2 this morning. I just didn't feel like fooling with it, so I added 7 hours drying time. Now it's 45 hours, 37 minutes into this process, which, like I said, was actually done in about 38 hours. So, but it don't hurt a thing. You can't get it too dry. They add some to it. Say it's getting ready to go, and you got an appointment, doctor's appointment. You don't have time to unload it. Just add some drying time. Let it keep going. Don't hurt a thing. Costs 50 cents to extend it a few hours, so you can get to it. Tricky. Okay, guys. This process is complete. Time to get these eggs out of there and get them put away. And I'm going to do the vacuum off that camera. Can't get the door open until you do. Not like you're going to forget it, is it? There you go. That's what it looks like when they're dried, ready for 25 years of storage. It's unbelievable. Here we go. Now, I don't always run mine through this blender first. I just break them up in chunks. It does make them easier to rehydrate if they've been blended. smoother. But I always figured to do it on the other end. You don't want to take them out and use them, but I thought to see how it goes this time. You take up less storage room, I suppose, if they're blended. Everything else seems to get extra small as you blend it. So, I'll probably do half of it at a time. Let's see. Man, it might be better to stick with using the processor. Might need to something to stamp it down with a little bit. This blender's getting smaller at the bottom like that. It may not work good. I don't know. I haven't tried yet. For these, it works good for the peppers. If they're loose, they kind of fall down as it chops them up. These edges here seem to kind of bridge across. Yeah, see, they're not going to go down. Alrighty. Definitely not going to do the blender deal. It just won't work with these. And it's okay. These chunks, and then when you get ready to use it, you can just take the bag and just kind of mush it on the counter. Or run it through the food processor then if you want it to be a fine powder, which I do like mixing the powder up better. It mixes up easier. So right here. These bags here, I could probably fit a little more, but it's nice to know what you got, and it's a good amount to open up. It's 2 dozen plus 1 egg. It's 25 eggs in one of these packs. When we start using these one of these days, it'll be 2 dozen at a time that we're opening up. I think that'll be pretty good. Alrighty. We already got this baby on, ready to go. Lay the end of it here across the sealing bar. It's on the right program. Push her down, and she's going. Now just watch the bag there, guys. You'll hear a click. That's the sealing bar going off. It'll seal the bag, and it'll let the air back into the chamber. It'll appear to be shrink. Very much so. Here she comes. There she goes. There we go. Release this. You see, you got a very good seal there. Now that's 25 eggs. Weighs about as much as 3 eggs, 3 or 4 eggs. And with this machine here, there's no need to use oxygen absorbers. It's already removed more than what the oxygen absorber can remove. That's our finished project. From the chicken's butt to the pantry, ready to store as long as needed. Thanks guys for hanging out with us. Please if you enjoy these videos, like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like them, just share them with all the people you don't like. Like and share 3 times. Thanks a lot. Okay guys, that's it. From the chicken's backside to the pantry. It's ready for 20-25 years storage. Probably go longer than that. Eggs are one of the very best things you can store long term. Very little fat. They dry very, very well. And that's the secret. The more moisture you can remove, the longer it's going to last. We're storing them in the Mylar bags, so there's no chance of light getting to it. Oxygen barrier is extremely good in a Mylar bag versus your plastic, your shrink bag. So, I'm not going to leave you there though. I saved down a little bit of product so we can go to the kitchen and let you see it be reconstituted and put in a skillet. How about that? Let's go. Alright guys, we're going to start out here with about 2 tablespoons of egg. And you mix it about 1-to-1, powder, water. And 1 tablespoon is supposed to be about 1 medium egg. Gonna let it set about 5 minutes. As you can see there, it's looking just like any other scrambled eggs. Give them just another minute there. I think while we're doing that, you remember me telling you on the last video about the puppy that my son bought down the street. We went down last night. Well, like I said, when Janet saw it the other day, she fell in love with it. So that kind of gave my son the okay. So he went down and paid for another one yesterday morning, and he got off work, he took us down to pick it out. So now there's 2 German Shepherd pups. One at both Dykes houses. It's beautiful. Maybe I'll show you a little video from last night while we're waiting on this egg to reconstitute.
That's what she done. First time I met her.
There you are. Come on. Let's go. See if we can get you to take a picture.
Come here, Ray.
Oh, oh. We can't take your picture if you won't turn around and sit down like your sister.
Come here, Gracie. Sit.
No. Sit.
Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl.
Now, ain't that some pretty puppies? I think this is about ready to go, guys. We'll make our way over here to the stove with it. I've got us a little spray in the skillet there heating up. As you can see there, it looks just like any other egg cooking. Cooks up exactly the same. Tastes exactly the same. There you go, from the chicken's butt to my belly. Freeze-dried eggs. Y'all have a good day, guys. Appreciate y'all. I appreciate it very much if you'd hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with all your friends. If you don't like it, share it with all your enemies. Love you guys. Appreciate it.